Hello and welcome to the Healthy Parents Update for the month of finishing up April. Now we are in May. I have Healthy Mommy and Healthy Dad here who are slim on starch, living the lifestyle. I am Healthy Emmie and I'm the creator of the Slim on Starch program where you work with me and a mindset coach and a nutrition coach to lose weight on a plant-based diet. So let's just get into it. We always start out with sharing wins from the past month. So Healthy Mommy, share some good news with us.
I was thinking of the analogy that wasn't lost on me and starting the garden project, enlarging the garden, which is I spent most of the winter thinking about it, and then it occurs to me that I actually have to do it. So, and it was hard, but in the end it was worth it. So that was my win for the week.
I actually heard something recently about how when we have something that we love to do, part of the reason why we love to do it is because we love to look forward to it, and how the anticipation is part of the dopamine that we get for something. So whenever you discover what one of your primary foods is, even just thinking about that primary food can elicit dopamine and that feel-good feeling. So Dad, share some good news.
Well, as you know, Dad is golfing, so that's good news in and of itself. It's almost like sleep has taken a back seat to getting up early and getting things going. And with the weather we had today, and I played a little later, I actually got a bike ride in before golfing, so
wow.
It was a daily double, no pun intended. But yeah, so it's interesting because the days get longer real fast. Unfortunately, they get shorter real fast in the fall. But you'll deal with that later. But yeah, that's really good.
So that ties into your primary foods, your favorite primary foods from this past month. So I would guess, Mom, yours would be gardening and Dad's would be golf, but maybe you'll surprise me. Let's talk about our favorite primary foods. Primary foods are the things that nourish your soul. They're not what goes on your plate. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mom, share what your go-to primary food has been this past month.
Well, I will surprise you then. I was asked to go out to dinner with some friends from the hospital. My best friend there said, a few of us want to take you out to dinner. And
To celebrate
my retirement. Started my retirement a few months ago. And when I arrived, it was much more than a few friends. It was a full-on surprise party. And it really meant the world to me. It was great.
Aww.
It was great.
This retirement gift just keeps on giving.
Yeah, I know. That's it now. Done.
Except for the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And
after that,
All right, Dad, what has been your primary food?
So, thinking about that, one of my goals, I'm not wearing any shoes. We talk about being grounded to the ground.
Yes.
And so again, the weather has changed, and I think from the standpoint of primary food, the fact that we've been able to eat our last two dinners and lunches outside, we're going to do that again tonight. It's really, and it's almost like it doesn't matter what you have. It's the fact that you're sitting there, and Lisa remarked last night how quiet it was. I'm like, don't say anything, you might jinx it. It's just, all it was us and the birds. It was great.
That's so funny you say that because I've just moved from my house to now I'm in an apartment and I'm on the 9th floor, and I make sure to go down to the ground level every day so that I can be grounded with the earth, because my meditation on the 9th floor is a different energy because that exact reason I'm not grounded. So the importance of if you have grass, to put your feet into the grass and really help you feel grounded and connected. So now let's talk about your favorite food that you've been eating this past month. We usually shout out the Healthy Mommy and the Healthy Dad cookbooks. There's a little bit of a battle in the house as to who sells more cookbooks. So your dollar is your vote. Choose who you like more this month at least. So Mom, what have you been eating this past month?
I was reminded when I went out to meet someone for coffee and had a little bit of breakfast. I ordered the oatmeal at the cafe. How important my breakfast routine is to me. I love my breakfast routine, and I'm pretty dedicated to it. I still look forward to it, and it's my oatmeal with carrots, and I jazz it up a little bit from here to there. But I think it's a really important way to start your day.
I was actually thinking too that when we go to the Caribbean, which no pressure, you can eat whatever you want, it's your retirement and whatever Dad says your vaccination. But I was thinking how it would be so easy for you to still have that because
Yeah.
you don't need a microwave, you know,
Right.
and you can still go on your walk on the beach on the morning and have your oats. So the importance of that routine to start you off. Okay, so you're choosing your cookbook, your oatmeal.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
I think, ironically, the weather's getting better, but the Mexican stew that we've been having recently, we had it for Cinco de Mayo, not because it was Cinco de Mayo, it just came up in the rotation. But what we've done is I've been buying chopped jalapenos and hot red bell peppers. So we've been able to kind of put it on the scale of how hot you want the stew, and we've been able to add to that depending upon, like if someone who doesn't normally have it has it and wants it to be hotter, they can add it in. We don't throw it in at the beginning, and if the mood strikes you. But that was the meal that we had Friday night, and it was just, sometimes it's the right meal at the right place at the right time. But that's the one I think that's been sticking with me recently.
I had Lauren and Jared over on Friday for Cinco and made Mexican food and made Thai's pico. If Thai gives you a recipe, cut this. It had 4 jalapenos in the pico. Sweating. Okay, cool. So why don't we talk about something that you learned over the past month in regards to your health, mental health, physical health, what have you? Go ahead, Mom.
I'm still learning. I'm always learning, especially about my mental health. I think it's good to really explore and learn new things, and I do that a lot in reading and podcasts, and it helps you worry less about things you have no control over.
So what you've learned is that the more you choose to learn about mental health, the better you feel with your mental health.
Yeah, sort of the less responsible, and that many people feel the same way, and that there are tools that you can put in a little tool belt to help.
The book The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is a book that I had never felt so in control of my brain than I did after I read that book.
It's a good one.
And I had that emotion of like, wow, I really I got this. So if anybody is wanting to learn more about their mental health, I think that's a really good starting point, is that book.
Yeah.
Dad, what have you learned?
Well, as we talked over the past couple of months or so, was where I swim got away from its reservations, and so I've kind of had to wing it a little bit in regards to what their schedule is, because they have swim lessons and lifeguard classes and so on. But in the past, you got 55 minutes, and that's just the way it worked. But now, depending upon what time you get there, your time is unlimited. So ironically, I'm back to now swimming more laps than what I was originally doing back when I was swimming at the college, because you had plenty of time. There were no reservations. It was open. So in that respect, I'm happy to say that I'm back swimming all the laps that I used to swim. But as I said to Lisa the other day, I've given up trying to beat the clock. I'm there to pace and get myself mentally out of the pool in better shape. And again, I keep coming back to biking. I came back from a bike ride this morning. It's just. So I think tomorrow I'm going to do both of those.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
It sounds like you're swimming so that you can swim, as opposed to swimming so that you can check it off the list and say that you swam. Have either of you had any struggles over the past month? Mom, any struggles that you want my guidance on?
Not such a struggle, but something I was going to ask you on your guidance about, and that is how come all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after months of not even thinking about them, I want peanut butter crackers like every day.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So there is an explanation for this. There's something called the extinction curve when it comes to addictive behaviors. When you first decide to give something up, the first few days are the hardest and you want them a million times more, right? And that's expected, the forbidden fruit effect. You say you can't have it, it makes you want it more, but then the cravings go away. Well, at the end of the extinction curve, there's something called spontaneous recovery. And it sounds good, spontaneous recovery, but what it means is a spontaneous recovery of the craving. So if you look at the extinction curve, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen, but it looks like this. So you have high cravings, you decide you're going to give it up, the cravings increase, but then they go down, and then all of a sudden, it's been months and months, and then they just go back up again. But you just got to, they will go back down. You just got to keep riding ride the wave. Urge surf, we call it. Ride it until that wave goes out and you're back to shore. But that's not abnormal. It is something that we see, and you just got to ride the wave, keep doing SOS, and you'll be back to where you were. Dad.
So I have something called hemochromatosis.
Yes.
And for those of you who are uninformed, which is probably most of you, my liver does not process iron. So the treatment, the lifelong treatment for that is phlebotomy. So I go periodically and have a pint of blood removed. It thins me out. And the good news is I go to a place where they're able to use the blood. So I'm by default a blood donor. And so it's all wins. But the last couple times I went, my hemoglobin is at a number that's higher than it should be, which is they're telling me I'm dehydrated. And so I have to be more cognizant about the intake of fluids. You know, you might not feel thirsty, but I've got to stay with it and, you know, try to make a point of staying with that. And plus it's summertime and I have sensitive skin. I've got to wear my SAE 30s and my wide brim hat. So those are the two challenges that I need to kind of continue to remind myself, because again, if you forget, it's easy to forget.
I tell clients, they say I don't like water, I say join the club, I'm the president. We have to sometimes drink medicinally, and that's what I do. I say I just have to get this down, and herbal teas make it easier, and seltzer makes it easier, and that does count for your fluid intake. Or you can just eat more pretzels. All right, coming up, any plans that we need to be cognizant of? Yeah, we got a busy month.
We do. Yeah, we're going on to the Caribbean. Emmie's taking me on this wonderful vacation. Then we're going to be traveling a couple weekends later, and then we're going to the cottage after that. So
there's
for
a lot.
us, we're pretty low key. That's a lot.
I think we're going to navigate it with grace. I think, Turks and Caicos will do a great job with staying present and having some signature system foods and special occasion foods, enjoying the time together, enjoying the food. And it's not just what you eat, but it's how you eat it. And so because we know that we're so good on SOS day in and day out, if we do go and we have some later foods, then so long as we eat them with intention, we chew them, we taste them, we eat slowly, I think we'll do just fine with them. And then when we're traveling to my significant other's family's house, I think we'll navigate that beautifully too, because every time that I go, they're so, I go grocery shopping, I can use the kitchen, so I think it'll be great. And we can make some meals and they'll make some meals. I think that will do well with that too. And then we're off to the cottage, so... Yeah. Dad, what about you? You have some alone time.
Yes, but again, with what I do, and I swim and I ride my bike and I golf. You folks must think, don't you get sick of doing those things? And the answer is no, I do not. Ironically, everything in moderation. I'm not out on 50-mile bike rides a month. It's 7 or 8, 9 holes of golf, 1.25 miles to 1.5 miles of swimming 3 or 4 days a week, and that's and that will keep me busy. And I don't need these momentous things to happen to keep myself in a good mindset. So I don't want you all to think that I'm boring, but I'm here. I don't need to be here to have a level of satisfaction.
You said something to me once that has stuck with me. You were going somewhere, you had something coming up, and I said, "Are you excited?" And you said, "I try not to get excited because I just kind of want to be here all the time." And that really, really stuck with me, because whenever we get excited for something, there's always, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There's always the come down afterwards. So I tell my clients, listen, you can have that food that's going to give you that ultimate high of eating it, and you're going to come down after, and it's not going to feel so good. Or you can choose to eat SOS every day and feel good every day. You're not going to have that super high, but you'll still feel good every day. So thanks for reminding me of that, Dad. Anything else?
No charge.
Anything else?
No, we're looking forward to today.
All right. We love you, and we'll see you in our next video.